Is your camera working, Doctor?
Yes, sir. Just 1 minute, please. Yes.
Thank you.
Did you hear the discussion?
No.
Did you hear the discussion that we had with
Yes.
Dina
I was. I will do. Yes. And after everything they have said, I don't think I have anything left to add, but I have to say something.
أنا وياك راح أطلع compromisers بعد هيك والله يمكن
Did you hear the discussion that we had with
Yes.
Dina?
I was. I will do. Yes. And after everything they have said, I don't think I have anything left to add, but I have to say something.
أنا وياك راح أطلع compromisers بعد هيك والله يمكن
Did you hear the discussion that we had with
Drama, you're watching the YouTube. Drama, you're watching the YouTube, please. Drama, turn off the YouTube, please. Okay, thank you. Okay, Azzuddin, يلا, it's all yours.
Okay, first of all, I would like to express my sincere gratitude for everything you continue to do as Doctors Against Genocide, especially in the medical field. Your support has made a real difference for people who, in many cases, have nowhere else to turn. And while the war may appear less visible than it was months ago, the humanitarian and health crisis in Gaza is far from over. Yet the impact of the...
Can you please introduce yourself for people who don't...
Yes.
Please introduce
yourself. I'm Dr. Azzuddin Shahab from Gaza. I have a clinic in north of Gaza in Jabalia. I studied abroad and come back to Gaza 3 days before the war began. And in the first days, I lost 44 members of my family in this war. And we destroyed our home and our neighborhood, and now we are in rent apartment in Gaza City. So I wanted to say that yet the impact of the war continue to be felt every day, often through forms of suffering that receives far less attention than the violence itself. There are many other forms of war being waged against the people of Gaza, including silence policies of punishment that rarely make headlines. Among the most devastating is the continued prevention of tens of thousands of patients in urgent need of medical evacuation from leaving Gaza to receive treatment. They die quietly. Their deaths record as the result of disease, but these are not merely deaths from illness. They are deaths caused by the blockade and by policies that prevent people from getting the treatment they need to stay alive. The tragedy is that this happens quietly. There are no dramatic headlines, no breaking new alerts. People simply wait to grow sicker and eventually die while hoping for a chance to receive treatment. Because it happens slowly and out of the public eye, it is often easier for the world to ignore. We have witnessed this reality first at our clinic. With the support of Doctors Against Genocide, we secured an ultrasound machine that would have significantly improved our ability to diagnose and manage a wide range of medical conditions. However, it was not allowed to enter Gaza. This is what I mean by systemic punishment. It is not only patients who are prevented from leaving for treatment. Essential medical equipment also prevented from reaching the healthcare worker trying to save lives. People are not only being killed by bombs, they are also being left to die through policies that restrict access to medical care, medicines, equipment, and treatment. The medical evacuation crisis is only one example for a much broader humanitarian catastrophe. Hundreds of thousands of people continue to live in conditions that are simply not compatible with a healthy human life. Access to clean water, adequate nutrition, shelters, and healthcare remains severely limited, leaving entire communities trapped in a cycle of illness, displacement, and preventable suffering. In Jabalia, where our clinic operates, tens of thousands of families are living among the ruins of their destroyed homes. Most lack reliable access to clean water, proper sanitation systems, electricity, or safe shelter. The environment has become ideal for the spread of disease. Insects, rodent, contaminated water, overcrowding, and poor nutrition have become part of everyday life. Perhaps what worries me most is that many people have begun to see these conditions as normal. After years of hardship, many have lost faith that anything will change. They no longer expect help. They no longer believe the world is paying attention. And this is reflected directly in the patients we see every day. Our small clinic is currently receiving more than 130 patients daily. Many suffer from complicated skin diseases, infections, chronic illness, malnutrition, and conditions that have become far more severe because treatment was delayed for too long. What we are seeing often looks very different from what we learned in medical school. In medical school, disease usually appears in textbooks as separate conditions with clear diagnosis and treatment plans. Here, everything overlaps. A few days ago, a young child came to our clinic after a rodent had bitten part of his finger. His father hadn't sought medical attention immediately because he believed it would heal on its own. By the time the child reached us, the wound was severely infected and he was showing signs of sepsis. When we see cases like this, we are not simply looking at an infection. We are witnessing what prolonged hardship, poverty, displacement, and hopelessness can do to ordinary families. Yesterday, I shared another story from our clinic about a newborn baby whose mother brought here seeking help. Let me read what I wrote about, but I already sent a photo to Dr. Nidal. Can you share it, please, Dr. Nidal? Dr. Nidal, are you here?
Do you want to share your screen?
Yes,
Dr.
no,
You can share your screen.
I don't know how.
Do you want to send it to me? I can share it for you.
Yes, please, I can. I want to. This is the picture, if you can see it.
Okay. Yes, we can see it.
Yes.
How old is this child?
5 months old. Oh, what's happened? This I wrote. This is what I wrote about. There are moments in Gaza when suffering becomes so ordinary that people stop asking for solutions. They're being asking only for the smallest relief, a little pain, a child who sleep through the night. When I entered the clinic that morning, I noticed a young woman carrying a baby so small that I couldn't tell whether the child was a newborn or simply made tiny by hardship. When her turn came, she gently placed the baby on my desk and said, I want any cream you have. Any cream, not a specific medicine, not a particular treatment, just anything. She uncovered the baby and showed me the severe rash covering much of the child's fragile skin. I treat the baby with whatever free creams I can find in clinics, she said. Anything else. I noticed something else. The baby wasn't wearing a diaper, only pieces of clothes. I asked why. She said, I can't afford diapers, she replied, and I wash this and use them again. Then she added that they were living in a tent and that her husband had suffered a serious foot injury and was unable to work. She continued, I'm not asking for much. I only want a cream. But what caught my attention most was not the rash, it was the malnourissions. The baby was severely underweight, the kind of malnutrition that is visible before any examination even begins. So I asked the mother whether she had noticed. She added, yes, I know. Then she said, when the baby gets older, things will get better. Not because she truly believed it, no one believed this sentence, but because hope was cheaper than treatment. And the treatment was something she could no longer afford. That was the moment that broke me. Not the tent, not the poverty, not even the illness, but the fact that this mother had lowered her expectations so much that she no longer dreamed of a proper medical care, labor, or adequate nutrition. She came asking for the smallest thing she could imagine, a tube of cream, any cream. Something that may make the baby hurt a little less. The baby couldn't have been more than 5 months old, too young to understand war, too young to understand poverty, yet already carrying both on that tiny body. There is something profoundly cruel about a world in which a mother's greatest hope for her child is no longer a better future, only a little less suffering tonight. Thanks to the medication provided through the support of Doctors Against Genocide, we were able to provide the treatment she needed, and we will continue to follow her case until she recovers. For that, we are deeply grateful. But what stays with me is the larger question. How many other children are living in similar conditions without ever reaching our clinic? How many families remain unseen? And even when we can provide medications, there are still countless other needs that remain unmet. A child doesn't need a medicine, doesn't need only a medicine. They need adequate nutrition. They need hygiene supplies. They need diaper, clean clothes, safe shelter, and a healthy environment in which to grow. Medicine can treat any infections, but it cannot by itself solve the conditions that cause it. That is why your support matters so much, because every box of medicine, every donations, and every act of solidarity give us the ability not only to treat disease, but to restore a measure of dignity and hope to people who have lost so much. On behalf of our patients, on our staff, our community, thank you for standing with us.
Thank you انت thank you انت مش احنا.
Thank you, Dr. Nalbani.
ديما هون فهن ما don't thank us please as long as Dima is here because she will punish us. We all owe the people of Gaza everything, so please do not thank us. We
No, you are.
apologize. يا ديما شو بدك ترد على دكتور عز؟
أنا إيش بدي أرد؟ إيش أرد
بدك
عليه؟
بدك
إحنا
تحكي له.
آسفين، نحن
لا، لا، لا.
آسفين إنه اسمع، لا دكتور عز، إحنا حنعمل كل اللي بنقدر. أنا مش دكتورة، أنا مش دكتورة ومش فاهمة أنا إنه أنا زايرة غزة قبل هيك، مش ساكنة فيها ومش يعني بعرف إيش يعني أعيش بإبادة، ما بعرف ولا حصار ولا إشي زي هيك، بس حنعمل كل إشي بنقدر عليه. أنا هذا وعد مني إلك، مش كدكتورة، كغزوية، كإنسانة، يعني إحنا آسفين والله يكون بعونكم.
احنا جدا بنقدر كل شيء بتعملوه والله، يعني مش قليل اللي بتعملوه، يعني انه نعرف شو الوضع بالخارج وشو اللي بتتعرضوا له ضغوطات ومشاكل. فشكرا كثير صراحه لكل شيء بتعملوه، خاصه يعني دكتور نضال وكلنا دكتورز اجينست جينوسايد بيعملوا شيء كثير كبير، كثير كثير كبير.
Okay, Iz. Some questions here. Some people are asking that you read some little bit from your book.
Yes.
We want to hear, yeah. Can you read a little bit from your book, please? And what is this book? Do you have a book, published book? Or
Yes,
what
yes,
do you have?
yes, yes, yes. I published a book.
You are
Yes.
famous, Claire.
No. I want to open just.
Yes, please read something from your book. We want to hear. Dr. Izzuddin is not just a medical doctor. He's a great writer too, and honestly, um, profound human being. And the the numbing of the conscious. There's something that I think we are all victims of this, that after a while, after you see all these atrocities for a long time, some people become desensitized and become a little bit numb, and they start to consider this as status quo or something little bit normal. But some people have a special skill or a special strength in their humanity that they do not get numb as much, and they continue to pay attention and deep feeling and empathy with what is happening. Dr. Azzuddin is one of them, and we really thank Dr. Az and many people who, like him, who keep reminding us that what maybe even many people in Gaza at this point start getting used to, that this is still not normal. It is not right. It should not be accepted, and it should not be normalized. Genocide is never normal. Destroying a whole people is never normal. Destroying a healthcare system is never normal. Starving kids is never normal. Dropping 2,000 um, bombs on kids and families and civilians is never normal. Regardless, we will never accept that those who are committing this are normal human beings. These are psychopaths, whether they are in Israel or in the United States, in Germany, in UK, or anywhere else in the world. The only definition for those people, these are psychopaths. These are sick people. These are supremacist, messianic groups that are actually the greatest threat to humanity. It is not the Palestinians, it is not the immigrants, it is not the Africans who are the greatest threat to humanity. It is not the Iranians. The greatest threat to humanity is the Israeli regime, the Israeli genocidal regime, the supremacy, the American imperialism and the empire, the nuclear weapons. And while the United States goes into wars and put the whole region at risk of, even the whole world at risk of World War III, for a possibility that Iran might have nuclear weapons, they never said a thing about the country that does have the nuclear weapons illegally, which is Israel. They never said a thing about them having nuclear weapons, because if Iran does not have the right to have nuclear weapons, they should not have the right to have nuclear weapons either. Israel should not have been allowed to have nuclear weapons. Israel should be attacked. Actually, if just the mere potential of Iran having a nuclear weapon is a justification for a war against it, then Israel, that is proven to have nuclear weapons, is actually the one that the world should wage a war on them and disarm them and remove their nuclear weapons. But again, whenever you're ready, Izzuddin, thank you for
Yes.
your testimony, for your
Yeah.
lived
Thank
experience,
you.
for
This
sharing the
is
truth.
the cover of my foot. What's happened?
It's kind of send it to me, and maybe we can share it, or send it to me if we can share it later on.
Yes, it's
What's the name of the book?
Diary of a Young Doctor's Notes from the Genocide in Gaza.
Wow, nice. We need actually everyone to maybe buy this book and read it.
Yes. So
Diary
let
from
me.
Yalla, read something from the book.
This is what I wrote when my 15 years old cousin was killed. It was one of the hardest moments of my life. I wrote it in 17 December 2024. Years ago today, at exactly 7 a.m., we woke to an explosion that shook the entire area, shattering doors and windows, sending shards of glass crashing down on us. We jumped out of bed in terror and ran to the street to understand what had happened. what kind of earthquake this was. The air was heavy with white smoke, and the stench of gunpowder filled every corner. We soon realized that an Israeli airstrike had hit one of the neighboring family homes, my uncle's homes. But the smoke was so thick, we couldn't even see which house it was. At our doorstep, I found my 15 years old cousin, Abdurrahman, unconscious on the ground. I tried desperately to wake him up, but he didn't respond. We carried him to the hospital on a donkey cart because no ambulance could reach us. But there he died from internal bleeding in his brain. He has simply been standing by the door when the blast hurled his small body meters away. The tragedy didn't end there. That same day, we lost so many from our family. My cousins Bilal and Yusuf were killed, among others. Honestly, I can't bear to finish this story. It tears my heart apart just to think about it. Their absence will forever haunt us, and the pain will never fade. May their souls rest in peace, and may the world remember their names, not as numbers, but a human being with dreams, pleasure, and futures that were brutally taken. Look, to be honest, I don't think we in Gaza we have had a luxury to grieving yet, or of truly stopping to think about everything we have lost and everyone we have lost. And just this.
Yeah. Again, we're sorry.
Can you say this last sentence that you said again one more time, Izzuddin?
Yes,
said
I
we
said
don't
that,
have-
to be honest, I don't think that we have yet had the luxury to mourn. We haven't had the time to sit with our grave, to reflect on everything that was taken from us and all the people we have lost along the way.
So yes, let that sink in. The people of Gaza are still undergoing genocide. They're still
Yes.
living in, what do they call it, fear or flight mode. They're still, each one of them feels like they can be a target, they can be the next victim, and they do not have until now the space or the time or even the luxury to mourn, to sit with themselves and to digest or even comprehend all what happened. And I think all of us who are paying attention to this, us also ourselves, we're still in kind of a fighting mode, and I don't think we even ourselves have processed this, even being in the West and with the privilege that we have. And I really think I want to also bring the that speech. Actually, a student from a Palestinian Canadian student gave on his graduation 2 days ago, and he emphasized the using our privilege as a responsibility. We are here in the West who are enjoying the privilege of being safe, the privilege of having homes and cars and AC and food, and never had to go without. And we are educated, we are skilled, we are doctors, we are nurses, we are professionals, we are, PhDs, we are all kinds of, people living here in the West. This privilege that we have puts on us a responsibility to do more and not to stay silent in the face of all these atrocities against humanity that we are witnessing every day. And although we all feel sick from genocide, we all feel a little bit exhausted ourselves, not a little bit, a lot exhausted about ourselves, but just imagine how much the people in Gaza have to endure and continue to endure. And if we ourselves feel a little bit exhausted, imagine how much they themselves are going through. And just for us just to come here on the webinar, how much preparations he has to make just to be able to come on the webinar. Many of our guests from Gaza, cannot even make it because they have no access to power or electricity or internet, and no home or no place to communicate from. So yes, our privilege, we need to be careful about our privilege. Our privilege is a responsibility that we have to leverage to help the people who have no voice, to help the people who have been enduring this for 2 years. So thank you, Azzuddin. Thank you for
Thank you.
your work. Thank you for your colleagues for all the hard work. We know that the healthcare system, with brilliant and skilled and resilient doctors and nurses and paramedics like you and your colleagues, is what kept little hope in Gaza, the people of Gaza, to stay and to insist on going despite all the difficulties. I'm going to open this up for reflections on, since Dima is here, Azzuddin is here, Mona is, I think, yeah, Mona is still here with us, and Ola. Any questions, any reflections about the webinar today? Anyone have any questions? Raise your hand. Dr. Sui, I think you raised your hand earlier, so I'm going to give you. Dr. Suyang?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes, you go first because, sorry, we apologize.
Okay, fine. I think that Dr. Sedin, I just want to apologize to you. You know, what you said made me realize that we are really not doing enough. We really are not. Okay. And earlier on, I posted something that 2 days ago, I was attending this court where they sentenced the Albert 4 who beat up the factory in Bristol. And this was actually my initial thought in response to anti-Palestinian racism, because these are all whites, they're all Brits. And the longest sentence is 8 years. And plus, in the other parts of the prison are the direct actioners still on hunger strike and waiting to be sentenced. They are already in prison. Why I'm bringing that out? Because, as a person who's not Palestinian, I will never be able to understand how much hurt this world has brought on the Palestinians. I try to, but I can't. And when I listen, I'm learning so much from Dima and all her colleagues. But when you came on, Dr. Isadin, then I realized this is completely insane. What's happening to the people in Gaza? What can we do? We can do all we can, but that's not enough. And I can tell you, I feel I've done so little, but that's all I can give. And I hope you can accept it.
Thank you, Dr. Suyang. You are a brave heart and an honorable soul, and we, the Palestinians, thank you. And you've been on our side since long before this current movement. You started in 1982. You were the eyewitness of the Sabra and Shatila massacre, and you never stopped advocating since then. So we really appreciate it, and we know you're trying all what you can, and we see you. We see you, and I'm gonna take the what do they call it? The liberty to extend the Palestinian honorary citizenship to all pro-Palestinian people. All of you are Palestinians, and we consider you as one of our own. And we really appreciate your solidarity, We appreciate your principled humanitarian stand, and we really, as maybe Dima mentioned at one point, the fight for Palestine is actually a human question. It's a humanitarian, not a humanitarian, it's a humanity issue, because we know that all the systems of injustice all over the world are all concentrated and focused on Palestine, and dismantling these regimes in Palestine will not just liberate the Palestinians, but will liberate humanity, because it is the biggest fight, it is the highest stakes, but winning it will make all the other fights much easier and will liberate all of us. Gaza has already liberated all of us, and I think none of us would dare or even imagine sitting here in these spaces and talking about these systems the way we are talking about them now, publicly, unapologetically, if
Yeah.
it wasn't for Gaza and for the sacrifices of Gaza. Gaza exposed all of them, in the east, in the west, in the north, in the south. Gaza opened all our eyes, and Gaza freed all of us to say the truth as is, with no apologies and with no minced words, and see the humanity of the people in Gaza and each and every one of us all over the world. Thank you. Any
you.
other
Can I say
comment?
something about Dr. Sweet?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, when I was in London, we had I had the honor of being with you and our colleagues, and it just so struck me that that morning when we held the protest in front of what was the call? The Foreign Affairs, the Foreign Office. It was bad. Like, it was so rainy, it was so cold, and obviously I was running on like a 3-hour sleep schedule, but I left after, shortly after I spoke, and Dr. Sui stayed. She stayed until the end. And this is just what she does. She's there. Her presence is inspiring, and rain or shine, you're a solid supporter of the Palestinian people. So, we honor you and we appreciate you, and it's such a privilege to walk this journey alongside people like you. So, and we're all sorry, like, we're collectively all feeling like, how does the world continue to exist when this is happening, like, to a child, like that child that Dr. Azzuddin mentioned? Like, how does everybody go back to work and live life? It is just, it's unfair, but and that's why we keep talking about it, because we need to continue to be uncomfortable with our privilege until we use it. We find a way to use it in the right way, and it's not, solidarity has a price. A lot of us are paying it, and the more of us join the movement, the less the price we have to pay. It's when a few of us are kind of the front and center, and everybody else is like staying in the back, then that's when the price is magnified. But I think the more people join this movement, the more people are uncomfortable with that privilege, the less possible for this punishment to be applied to us. So we need to bring more people into this and really agitate until we get everybody uncomfortable. Nobody should be comfortable with the privilege, honestly. No one should be.
Yeah, absolutely right. I tell you what, sometimes people ask me, Palestinians, these are Palestinian friends, say, Sui, our life is so difficult, we don't choose to be born Palestinians. Can you imagine them telling me? So, but what's the matter with you? Why don't you just go, go and live your life? But the truth is this: after having met the Palestinians, after understanding what is justice, what is humanity, what's resistance, then you see, you cannot dehumanize yourself by walking away from it. That will be the greatest crime to anybody's soul. Just how Dima is talking, about Gaza people people get, I'm talking about people abroad. Of course, people in Gaza is going through hell. I just, it's terrible. You know, I still get up in the morning and cry when I think of Gaza. But even abroad, they get all the time. You see, you can talk about dehumanization. You can talk about anti-Palestinian racism. You can talk about discrimination. You can talk about anything. But there's an addition to Gaza. Because Gaza dare to resist. And their resistance is being criminalized. And that's why this thing about Hamas run MOH, because terrorism. And now you see, our non-Palestinian supporters are having a taste of it. They are being criminalized to become terrorists. Look, spray painting an Albert factory is not terrorism, right? You see, normally you get 3 months community medicine or community duty for doing it, but eight years, you know. So this is really criminalization. But I think the world is understanding. But Gaza paid such a horrible price. We collectively as humanity do not know how we can repay you. That's the truth.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Suyang. Dr. Mariam Shitab, what are you saying in the comments? We want to hear it from you. You cannot just comment and not and get away with it.
I have to say something.
Yes.
Well, first of all, that I don't remember who said that. I was, reading, and someone pointed out that the reason Palestine resonates so deeply with so many people who are not Palestinian is anyone who's been oppressed, who's suffered at the hands of Western imperialism. When you look to Palestine, you don't see a separation between yourself and them. You see the faces of your family, your loved ones, amongst them, and that's why so many of us feel strongly. If you're from Lebanon or Iraq or Syria or Afghanistan, it's you know what that feels like, and that's why you can't look away. And I think more people in the West who've never had that history of their, for their people are also suddenly seeing that struggle is also their struggle once they take the blinders off. So, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Who else wants to have any comments? Let's go to Annie. Annie was going to help us with some fundraising matters for a minute. Then we'll open everyone, please.
Right.
We'll give
I-
the person who wants to comment. Go
Yeah.
ahead, Annie.
Money matters. We just have to get to this point right away, up front, loud and proud. Money matters. And I want to each time come to you with a segment on money, because we're not good at this. We're not good enough. And I don't mean DAG. I mean the entire Palestinian universe. And our opposition is exceptionally good at it. So I really want to always have a piece here about money. I come from the money world. I am trained, by the Harvard Business School and so forth. I come from the inside of the money world, and it's really important that we talk about money. So let me just set a few things up. First of all, let's be very clear. There's never been a war where 80% of the buildings are destroyed, 100% of the people are displaced, and 50% of the deaths are children. And that could lead us to completely implode, to give up. But losing hope is never an option, ever. And we hear it all the time. Dr. Swee, all the doctors in Gaza, Dr. Izzadeen, the amazing nurse last week with his book, and it just goes on and on. So in fact, we're going to double down. Right, Maisa? That's what you say, and I completely confer. We must double down. That means we must do more. And I want you to start thinking not just about all the activism you do, which I know many of you, and I couldn't keep up with that level of activism. I need you to think about money too. So first, let me just lay out what I think DAG is doing very well on money, and then just where we can build from that. So as you know, this is a zero staff operation. Zero. There's no staffing. there's us. Everybody on this call is DAG. There's nothing else. There is no infrastructure, no building. That's it. We are DAG. And in that zero cost model, we have 5,500 donors. So first of all, let's be very clear. That is immense success that we collectively must be proud of. And it all comes together in what I want to call a high velocity humanitarian machine. This is where we're very unique. We are a high velocity humanitarian machine. So I want to make 3 points on the way DAG creates value, because I want you to hear that, because I'm going to ask you for more money. I want you to be able to tell other people why they're going to give to DAG. So I'm trying to, also equip you with that. First of all, we're a high velocity humanitarian machine. There are very few of these, very few in the world. Our funds are paired with thousands of hours of other people's hours, all the doctors we hear from. There is no way we could give them enough resources for the 80 hours, 100 hours they're working, the depth of what they are doing. One of my favorite examples was just last week, Hassan, the nurse, and the book. I mean, that if you heard that, you just have to, all praise to him for what he and his team did. There is no way you can buy that effort. There is no way you can find that anywhere else. So our funds are paired with thousands of hours of doctors, nurses, the best of the best. These are the best doctors in the world, whether they're in Lebanon, whether they're in Gaza, whether they are the activist Elvis in Congo and the others. This is the best of the best. And they are doing all the major work. We're just enabling the gaps. And this is really important. Others have massive infrastructure that they have to fund and move. Second, we get money into Gaza. This is actually quite rare. All right, the best and biggest names that we all know are stuck at the border. Or Israel has now just delisted them. All the major big organizations that we know of are delisted from Israel. So they are in what I call the permission-based system. Their aid is conditioned, not ours. We go where we want, when we want, and fast, and we get money on the ground in Gaza. This is fundamental. And that money is not just dignity, it's not just survival, which of course is our number one goal, is recovery and reconstruction. That money is putting up walls, it's building clinics, it's redoing wells, some of which in other places the Israelis fill with cement. We have to get money into Gaza, and DAG is exceptionally good at that, and that is part of our long-term game. We're going to help with employment, all that we're doing with our money, but recovery and reconstruction is our main goal. We will recover, we will rebuild, and we sing that fantastic song that we like. And all of that money is part of our global solidarity, right? That is part of what we're doing. We're not just showing up. Part of our solidarity, part of our soul is what is sitting in our bank account. And I need you to get uncomfortable. And I need you to get uncomfortable not only with your own money, but with the money of others. I need you to ask. I need you to ask and be uncomfortable. And I know how hard that is. Because what are we doing? Here's the good news. We are building moral capital, right? There's the capitalist economy. Capital is money or investment account. We are building moral capital. And everybody who gives, yourself and others, is going to feel that. So when you ask them, not $1 is going astray. In fact, that $1 is becoming $10 in this whole layered system we have. We are building moral capital, and that is going, with many, many others, to be the force that changes the world. And that reckoning is already happening. We were just on the Hill, and people running for elections. The conversation is very different. That reckoning is happening now, and we are a part of it. Every meeting on the Hill, I heard them say, it was my first time, oh, we so appreciate DAG has been here 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. It just keeps showing up. So your money is part of building that moral capital. And we don't get to change the world without moral capital. That's the bottom line. There is immoral capital that has saturated everything, elections, our lives, Coca-Cola, so on and so forth. So I want you to give. I want you to give again if you give. I want you to ask and just think who in the next week or so could you ask? And if you're a little uncomfortable doing that, maybe join one of the local chapters and maybe there's a collective effort on events or giving. So we have to put our money there. And I, as somebody who knows a fair amount of money, put most of my money into DAG because I have never seen this layering of value anywhere else. So there's always a link. You can find it hopefully in the chat. The website is phenomenal. It's just been redone and an incredible effort. And you'll not only choose where your money goes. I give mine unrestricted, wherever DAG thinks it should go. But you'll see all the money that has come in before and where it has gone and what it's doing. So moral capital, we must talk about money. And thank you to everybody, the 5,500 who have given and all the impact that that has had. And we're going to do more, and we're never going to stop until we rebuild Gaza. Thank you.
Annie, if I may add just one thing, you know, with the addition to giving, it's also where we spend our money. And this is really like to echo Ola's point about BDS. Very, very important that we don't just give to causes that, you know, like DAG, but also be very selective and very clear. That's also part of the moral capital, is to really choose and be accountable for how we spend our money every day.
On that, by the way, there's so many DAG groups, you're probably a part of at least one. I wanted to add something I forgot. DAG is trusted, and we say that, and we know it. But know that today there was a major article that came out about a group called, I don't know, Sadaka Palestine, which turns out maybe is or certainly is allied with an Israeli spy firm. So you can tell people, look, we know who the founders are. We know where the money is going because poor guys are accountable and talk to us every single week. We know they're real. We know exactly what they're doing. We see the videos. We see the patients. We see the cream that Dr. Azdin is talking about. We see it. And I think that will be another point we really have to add, especially we knew there were shadow entities, and now I think we should expect many more because the moral reckoning is happening and the other side is scared.
Yeah.
Thank you, Annie. I want to have a joke. There's a funny thing that happened yesterday. Since you kept mentioning Hassan Tahrawi, the nurse. So yesterday, Hassan Tahrawi, the night before, he had a dream at night. And he dreamt that he was traveling out of Gaza. And while he was in the airport, somewhere, the airplane would not work for some reason. And he got out of the airplane and started pushing it by hand and looking behind Gaza. And he didn't want to take the chance to go back. So he spent the whole night trying to push the airplane to move so he can travel abroad. Yeah, that's the Hassan Tahrawi, and he's an amazing person. He's very ambitious. He's very dedicated, and as you said, Annie, he puts countless hours into his work. Him and his colleagues, they're doing great work, as many or most people in Gaza are. And again, you mentioned the website. This is an invitation for all of you to go and visit our new website. Our new website has been single-handedly created by none other than Maisa Hawash. She spent few weeks doing it, but she did an amazing, amazing work. I mean, I think this is the best thing that happened after maybe the discovery of electricity, maybe. As far as DAG is concerned, the
No,
website
because
has
like I'm
always
still waiting for feedback, and there's a lot of opportunities for improvement. So poke holes and then give us feedback. It's not the best thing. No.
so at
I think the
DAG,
best thing that happened is seeing the faces of our brothers and sisters in Gaza, yani, show up every week after week. This is the best thing that happened, is that we're able to tell the truth. But yeah.
Yeah, at DAG, I mean, our website has always been our weakness because we started it actually the first 2, 3 days of starting DAG, and we didn't know how to do it. Rebhi just went online and did, some self-made website, which was good. It was okay, and we were happy with it for a while because we did not have the time to go and create a professional website, and we did not even have the funds, and we did not really want to spend that much money on creating a professional website. Then, after a while, when we thought about, we want to have, now it's the time to have a professional website. And guess what? You go out there, all the good companies that have good websites and good platforms are either Israeli owned or Israeli linked, or working one way or another with the Zionist regime, or supporting the Zionist regime. That's why we refuse to work with them or get anything from them until Mesa saved us in the last month. And so there's a great website there. Please go and visit. And again, it is new. We're still, Mesa, not us, Mesa is still working on it. So any feedback, please go into the details. Any suggestions, any feedback, because we want to make it as good as we can. It is great, but it doesn't hurt to have feedback from everyone. I think Annie already gave us
Yeah, I gave quite a bit because it's so good. You can see how it can be even better. It's one of those, like when you have an A student and you're like, yes, we're going to get this to an A plus. It's amazing. Note that when you go on, and I hope by the end of this call, all of you are on, go to the community page. That's where the giving is. Note that we have met our first goal for some of the reconstruction, which is really the big effort of DAG. That number is going to move, right? So excellent that we met goal 1. So if you see we're close to the number, that's just because we're getting warmed up. We're just getting going. So do not feel that you're off the hook. Feel encouraged that if you want to give to the hospital reconstruction that is happening right now, and there'll be some amazing updates on that in the next month or two, that you go right in for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Annie. Mesa?
I
You
can't
want to
unmute myself. It must be a sign from the universe that I shouldn't talk. I'll pass to someone else.
Okay, so yes, please, we need your support and we need your feedback. And as Annie mentioned, none of us is expert, and DAG is for all of us. So all your feedback is important, and none of us knows it all. We really need your skill, your eyes, your brains, and suggestions, whether for the website or anything else, how we can improve, our work, our collective mission. Phil, you've been on the road a lot in the last 10 years, maybe, especially the last few weeks. Any comments, any feedback on what you heard today, and also on the last advocacy day that we had in DC?
Well, I have been on the road. I went to Chicago for the free Dr. Abu Safia rally, and then to Washington. It wasn't just for that because I go visit my mother in St. Louis, so I did a 2,400-mile rectangle, I suppose, and made it back, about 7 o'clock yesterday morning, back home in Connecticut. Today I was very moved by Dr. Azzedin's witness, which is a term that comes from my faith background. We say witness a lot, and it just brought it back to the people in Gaza. And there was a remark about how little up to a certain point we had actually talked about Gaza, about the people in Gaza. We were talking mostly about ourselves and about what happens here. And that's a necessary part of the conversation, but he really brought us back to why we're here in the first place. And I hope many people watch this and listen to his witness, because it's very moving, and people will, I'm sure we're all asked, why do you do this? Well, what he said, what he told us, the vision that he gave us is why we do this. We don't need any more explanation than that. So thank you very much for today.
Thank you, Phil. And Phil actually bought breakfast and food for everyone at the Airbnb. We stayed all together, and none of us knows how to do these things. And
And I
again,
left my flashlight.
oh, you left the flashlight. Yeah, and he saved us because we lost power. And Phil, actually, if any one of you is ever in trouble or ever going to go on a mission or travel anywhere, please take Phil with you because this guy has a solution to everything. He's always ready. He's always prepared. If you need a charger for your phone, if you need someone to save you when the power is out or you don't know, I mean, and he's also have a very encyclopedic mind. He knows like everything about everything, and it's always great. It's always a pleasure, and thank you, Phil, for everything. And to inspire everyone, and since we were talking about the money, and also to emphasize that DAG is actually all of you, not me, not Mesa, not Phil or Danny. It's all of us. I just got a message from Dr. Mansour Malik that he just emailed the APA and asking them to direct the monetary equivalent of his award, which is $5,000, and he asked them to donate the $5,000 to DAG on his behalf. So thank you, Dr. Malik. This is really great, very honorable. And it just goes to emphasize that DAG is all of you, all of us, and we can all win together or go down divided, or as the saying goes. So much appreciation. Dr. Malik, as you all know, the one who doesn't know him, he's the one who presented that lecture at the APA against, or about the genocide in Gaza and the microaggression to genocide, and against the suppression of free speech and the truth of Palestine, the truth of the genocide in Western institutions, including, but not limited to, the American Psychiatric Association. They ended up giving him the opportunity to present his lecture, but they had to bring others to counter his kind of argument, to whatever play the both sidism game that allowed this genocide to happen in the first place. When there is a genocide, there is no two sides. There is one side that is perpetrating a genocide, and there is one side that is the victims here. There is no both sides in genocide. I don't think the APA or the American administration or the Israeli administration would accept anyone in the 1940s on a panel discussion discussing the Holocaust to go invite some Nazis to be on the panel to present the other argument or the other side. This was not acceptable then and should not be acceptable now. The Zionists are the perpetrators here. They are not a side. They are the criminals. And we don't take the criminal input into account. They need to be held accountable. That is the only position that they deserve, to be held accountable, not to hear their argument. There is no both sides in genocide. But we appreciate Dr. Mansour, Dr. Malik, we appreciate each and every one of you. And that $5,000, we actually need to find something special for those $5,000, because maybe we need to send them to the a mental health program in Gaza. So this should have like special designation and named maybe on behalf of Dr. Mansour. So we'll think about something that honors this contribution. Okay, now the superstar DAG stars from DC. We have Iman, we have Dania, we have Marta. Marta, do you want to share anything before we go to the last advocacy day?
Oh, okay. It's such a great webinar, as always. It was really first part was so interesting, that conversation, and important. And all the students, I mean, amazing, amazing. And Dima just fire, and it just makes me want to go and burn it all down. But I don't mean that. You know, we're on.
She's coming after me, Martha. Please don't give her any more ammunition. She's already on fire.
Say, shut it down. Shut it down. How about that? Shut it all down.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, Maisa, thank you.
Good.
That's good Canadian editing, Maisa.
What did you say, Maisa? What did you say?
Shut it down.
Shut it
Oh,
down.
shut it
Yeah.
This is the chant we
Okay.
use in the protest. You shut it down. Yeah.
And Dr. Ezzeddine, I follow him on social media, and his stories, they never leave you. You know, I was just watching that story he told today, and it's a powerful, powerful stuff. And also, I am also just want to also say I'm so excited about this website. It's been a thorn to me, but I always feel a little shy to criticize it because I have zero tech capability. But Maisa, you did a fantastic job, and I will send some feedback. Thank you so much, Maisa.
And Maisa did not use any Israeli or any Zionist technology. We need to make
Amen.
sure that's very clear. We could have fixed the website a long time ago. We had
Oh,
very easy ways, but we refused.
one more thing, Nidal, you can buy Palestina cola. Just Google it, Palestina cola.
I know.
You don't need
I know.
I'm gonna
Pepsi.
send you a box. Actually, I'm gonna buy it personally and
Send
send
me,
you.
yeah. I'm open for donations. Anyone can donate Palestine, Pepsi, Cola to my house. I'll share my address. So take me off the Zionist list, please. Okay. Yalla. Before this, we have a doctor here who's always causing trouble, not just in DC. He's going all over the place. He's becoming another Phil and another John. Dr. Kuram, are you there? Dr. Kuram,
Yeah, I'm here.
what did you do in New Jersey?
What did you do in New Jersey?
You and
This
New
John.
week
Jersey.
actually, this weekend was not as it
We
wasn't
can't
what do you
see you,
call
Karam. We like to see you.
it? I can't right now.
Okay.
But yeah, this weekend wasn't as insane as the weekend before when I was there. There were a couple instances of ICE agents, since there's no police there anymore. They did come out and pepper spray and instigate basically. So John and I went. John, recently came back from the flotilla, so he wanted to kind of see the similarities between when he was on the prison ship taken by the IOF during the flotilla and see the conditions at the Delaney Hall concentration camp in New Jersey. And, according to him, it was almost identical in terms of the type of treatment that was shown, especially with the people outside protesting. They're completely unarmed. Nobody's provoking, and you see these agents come outside, and they're the ones who start agitating and start provoking and start instigating and create the issues. So that was we ended up going and then left that same night. Came back around 5 in the morning. But yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Kuram. Just be careful, and I think you and Dima and John will make a perfect team. You are the shut it down people.
Yeah, just I
You
don't
need
know,
something.
just
Martha.
doing what we
Martha
can.
wants to shut it down too.
Who?
Just doing
Martha.
what we can. The first time I went, Nidal, remember I messaged you and you kept telling me not to go. This was at like 2 or 3 in the
3
morning.
a.m. It's called 3 a.m. and you did not sleep for 2 days. Then you asked me to go to drive 3 hours to New Jersey by yourself. Of course, I would say no.
I
I'll
know.
come
So
with you.
as I was messaging you, I was literally packing at the same time, and then I ended up just going in the car until I drove there. And I was telling John this too while we were driving. So I drove there so, impulsively almost that by the time I got to Jersey around 6 o'clock in the morning, and I see the New York skyline is when it hit me, and I'm like, what am I doing here? But I ended up staying there from 7 a.m. that day till around 2 a.m. the next day almost. Thankfully, I got lucky of getting out because I kept being told by cops that I have to come back at 6 a.m. to get my car because of the curfew. But I'm still thankful that at least I was there that day. So that was helpful. And we did introduce ourselves to a couple of the volunteer medics the other day when John and I were there. Come to find out, they were also members of Healthcare Workers for Palestine. And, I let them know about our organization as well, too, to, join. And they were more than happy to.
Thank you, Kram. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for all what you do, and get some rest, please. Let's recharge for the next.
Inshallah, yeah.
Okay. Now we'll go to Iman, Dania, Maribeth. I want to start.
Assalamu alaikum,
Iman.
everybody.
Alaikum
I'll
salam.
go ahead. I wanted to thank Dima. I think it's very easy to get very overwhelmed with everything that's going on. And sometimes it just kind of makes you freeze and slow down. But definitely needed the kick in the butt. So I appreciate it. And hopefully, Dima, if you can be here every week to do that for us, that would be really helpful. And I really think that it's a lot of what's going to help us have success is the younger generation, because they don't give a damn, so um and just reminding us, like, I have this, I'm taking just written notes, and at the top I've got in big letters, not doing enough. And I think that's how I feel all the time. We're just not doing enough. And then Dr. Azadine, just reminding us, like, right after that, like, my God, like, some of the words that he said today, like, the suffering has become so ordinary, that, they're not asking for solutions anymore, or mom cannot hope for better future, but just hope for a little less suffering. I mean, but how are we in this place that, 5-month old should just be hoping for a little less suffering? I mean, it's just disgusting and terrible. And so more motivation that we need to do more. And then Dr. Swee, when you said you dehumanize yourself by walking away from Gaza, that was very profound. And I think I'm going to use that line in my follow-up emails, when I do my emails to the folks in DC. Because it's very easy for them, I think, to distance themselves, and I think people forget that we are a part of a broader humanity, listening and being reminded, earlier, to what's happening to the women in Sudan. And we know this is happening to the women in Congo and people in general, that there's all these horrible things happening in the world. And I don't think we have the right to distance ourselves from that. We have a responsibility, to do something, because this could be you. This could be you, and I think you would hope that somebody would do something for you. Our next Hill Day is July 22nd, so you've got plenty of time to plan. So please join us. We're actually getting more appointments with Republicans, which is great. Sometimes Dania and I joke about, like, sometimes getting the Republican meetings are better, because we feel like we may be making more of a dent, in the sense that, like, it's interesting. I mean, some of them really don't know what's going on. We were in an ER doctor's office, and the gentleman we were talking to claimed that, if his rep knew this, more about this, he would do more. And we're kind of hearing that, some stuff is changing behind closed doors. So I think we just need to keep being in their ear, in their ear, in their ear, in their ear. We need to share what is exact. We need to share with them exactly how terrible things are over there. Because, I mean, at some point, I mean, unless you're just, your heart is completely made of stone, you have to connect and be like, this is really terrible. And they were saying that, oh my God, this is really terrible. Like, I did not know that. And so I think, as difficult as it is for us to hear, us saying this stuff over and over and over again as we go to each office, they really need to hear these things. And so, like I said, try and get the day off on July 22nd and join us because numbers matter. One of the offices said, "Oh, yeah, I've seen you guys. I see you guys walking the hallways." It was our first time in their office, but they know and they recognize us. And so I think we just need to be more in their face. So if you can attend, that would be great.
Thank you, Iman. Is next month, are the priests against genocide joining next month, or is that September?
That will be September, and that we're going to really plan for, but we are planning in honor of the 250th anniversary of this occupation state, the United States, of sending a letter, DAG and Priests Against Genocide, and they call it out, let me tell you. So that's building a campaign to war, a lot of letter writing towards us all joining, as we say, white collars and white coats in September.
Amazing.
And Martha and I met with a number of priests and very, very active Catholic members of churches there who are not Palestinian. And one gave up a very prestigious job because she couldn't have blood on her hands working for a tech company. Another goes, I think it was New Jersey, where they were trying to stop a ship and, had her body dragged off. And I think we're going to do very well in September in union with them.
Amazing. And there's some comment actually from the audience that said, mentioned that DAG is not only for doctors and healthcare workers, and that's correct. We have a lot of advocates that join us. Advocacy is for anybody who cares about life and health. So this is, although we are called Doctors Against Genocide, but as Nidal says, like anybody who confronts genocides is a healer, and we want to preserve life. So join us. Anyone can join.
In terms of joining, let me also say I've never been before, nor am I a doctor or a healer. I come from the dark side, the money side of the world. And so you don't need to know anything. Please download the amazing, maybe if we post it also, the document we gave, which I have right here because I'm practically memorizing it. It's so, so good. And so DAG will equip you. You'll go in a team with 4 people, and man, telling you just listen and learn. Watch the magic when, Danya and others just like let it go, and they know what they're doing. And so just listen and learn. I brought my sister, who is a medical worker, because I want her as part of my work with DAG to get very involved. So bring somebody maybe, but you don't have to be medical. You don't have to know how to do all of this, which I don't. And you will really be inspired. It's very hard work, but you will be inspired. So come wherever you are on that journey.
Yeah, I think you are a doctor against genocide yourself too, Annie. You don't need to have a medical background, and money in the right hands can be a tool of healing too. So money, as everything else, has a good side and has a dark side. Depends on who's using it and to what end and what cause. So thank you. And regarding next month, for those who are interested, or we really urge everyone try to join us. Our next advocacy day is going to be July 22nd. It's a Wednesday this time. And we chose this date because it is the National Advocacy Day for Disability Group nationwide. Disability groups here in the United States, and we're speaking on the disabled people all over the world, especially the disabled people in Gaza who are, on top of their disability, are also experiencing genocide. So this is going to be really powerful, really meaningful, and we would like and appreciate if as many of our colleagues, wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever background you have, to join us to amplify this strong message. We need to be always, as always, on the side of the weak, on the side of the oppressed, on the side of the disabled, and because the perpetrators, they're already strong, they don't need help. We always try to help those who need us and stand with them, amplify their voice and their message. Okay, Dania?
I think Philippe, Khadija are here, our colleagues from
Yeah.
Congo.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Perfect. So let's get an update about the situation in Congo. Then we'll come back, Dania, and finish about the DC. Hi, Khadija. How are you?
Hello, Doc. Salam,
Yeah.
everyone.
Salam. Actually, we were talking about you earlier. We had the UN rapporteur about the rights of women, Mesa,
Violence
exactly.
against women and girls. The special
Yeah.
rapporteur on the violence against women and girls.
She was really asking for more connections in Congo, so we were thinking of you and Philippe and also your colleagues there in Congo to connect with her. So we're gonna inshallah connect you with her.
Absolutely. Thank you. Appreciate that. Always grateful for DAG's advocacy and DAG's commitment to Congo. I think Philippe is here. He can share. Hi, my name is Hadija, and I'm with Philippe and Elvis, who are both on the ground in Goma in North Kivu province. Elvis is a traveling documentarian and activist, so he is usually in different places and always available to give us an update whenever he can. I think they'll be speaking shortly after. But I just wanted to come and say thank you for the support. Thank you for standing with the communities in Congo. It's been a long, long time, as Philippe and Elvis will let you know, that Congo has been going through genocide. And it has been because of corporate power structures, international corporate power structures, the ones that we are fighting. There's a through line in all of them. The Apples and all of the big and bad bullies of this world and Western imperialism, they're the same ones that have made the people of Congo suffer just because they are heirs, they're the real heirs, natural heirs to a very wealthy nation, a nation that has a lot of natural wealth that the world wants to and must have. So we have been together with DAG for many months now, I think more than 6 months, almost a year, and we have been receiving grants, and that grant has been going into getting people who are living in rural communities in Congo access to medical care. People who have not been looked after, who have not seen a physician or any kind of medical personnel in years are being looked after because of the work of DAG. And it's so great that they have reached out to us and they have extended their empathy and their graciousness to our cause. And Philippe is going to tell you all about the medical missions that we have been engaging in. We have been fighting, we've been on the front lines. Philippe and the team in Goma have been on the front lines fighting the recent outbreak of Ebola in this region. The neighboring province of Ituri is where the epicenter of the outbreak is. And so we have been reaching out to communities, empowering them, educating them, sensitizing them on the effects of the disease and how it spreads and all of those things. And so just wanted to say thank you very much. And I'll give Philippe an opportunity to give you all an update from the ground. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Adija. Greetings from Goma. This is Philippe. As Adija has been announcing, I'm part of the team of Let's Act Together for Congo that works with Adija with the support of DAG since many months now. And it's always a privilege to be here in this forum. So as we announced earlier, it's now over a month that the outbreak of Ebola has been announced by health authorities in Congo, and our region is the epicenter of this virus that is killing very many people now. So for the story, the first person who came with Ebola in Goma town, we are happy to announce that now the woman has been released from hospital, so she's completely healed. But this past week, we have lost critically now medical and health personnel. We have lost very many nurses and doctors, especially in Ituri, but even on our side, people are being affected. We are still thinking with the health authorities because there is no internationally recognized treatment for this strain of Ebola, and there is no vaccine. So we are still thinking about how people are getting healed, because we have people who are getting healed and released, and they're being given some certificates to confirm that they had Ebola, but now they are completely well. So we are still thinking about how others are dying, but families are affected. People are dying a lot. So we think we need to put a strong emphasis on the protection of healthcare personnel. People should not die while trying to save other people's lives. And this is what we are now seeing now. Healthcare personnel are afraid of attending to cases of Ebola because now when people are called and when we hear that the symptoms are symptoms of Ebola, we have people who are afraid. Anyway, the PPE materials and equipments are there, but they're not that much sufficient to help and take care of these people. We lost a couple of medical doctors this week. These people were fiancés, they were preparing their wedding, and both are medical doctors. They all passed away this previous week. They were working in a camp, in a base where people affected by Ebola are, and unfortunately, they got contaminated. So this is what Ebola is doing here. We have now over 1,000 cases that are confirmed, and people are still dying. Since we cannot treat them, we do not even understand how people are being healed because we are doing what we call symptomatic treatment. We are treating only the symptoms. We cannot really attack the virus because we do not know how it is working. And WHO has not announced any cure that is accepted internationally. So we are treating symptoms, and when the symptoms disappear, we can check again the blood to confirm that the person is okay and the person can be released. So this is how Ebola is working, but also with the support of DAG and all the partners, we have been fighting this together. So I am here again to express our gratitude. We are so thankful because, of course, we are the ones on ground. We are the ones trying to reach people, but we cannot do it without your support. So thank you. Again, this week, in the beginning of the week on Tuesday, we have been in a place called Masisi with the team of Let's Act Together. We got some support. We went there. Masisi has something special. As you know, since almost 2 years now, the city of Goma is under control of rebels. So we do not have any access to go out or to neighboring countries. The borders are closed, the airport is closed, the banks are closed, and it's quite difficult for people. So the people who are already poor, they are now in a poorer situation. And as a medical and healthcare personnel, we are fighting and we are doing what we can to increase the access to these people. Now, Masisi is quite far from Goma, almost 300 kilometers from Goma. And this place, the rebels are still fighting with the National Army of Congo. These rebels are supported by Rwanda, they're supported by Western powers, they are after minerals of Congo, and that side they are still fighting. So when we went there, we thought we were prepared to help these people, but what we found there was very critical than anything we could expect, because we found there people who are already wounded by the fights of the soldiers. Then again, we found children who are in severe malnutrition because they don't eat. They have been fleeing to Goma, now released back to their places. Again, the fights are starting. So now they do not know what to do, and they were asking us, should we come back again to Goma? When you could see them, it is terrible. The videos have been shared with Adija. I think she will be sharing them with you. So we were just talking to them. Of course, we went with some medicines. We were there with nurses so that we treat some cases, but we weren't prepared for everything that we found there. People are in terrible conditions. All these added now to the threat of Ebola, because Ebola is in Goma, so it can reach there anytime. Since these people are living in schools that have been destroyed by bombs, you understand that the hygiene conditions are poor. So anyone can touch anyone can have access to anything, and this is how Ebola is being transmitted. Only by the fluids, the bodily fluids. So when someone is sweating and you get in contact with the sweat, you are contaminated. So if someone is urinating and you get in contact with that, you are contaminated. And when we're seeing that, we're saying our people are in danger. We cannot be here and cross our hands and believe that anything will happen if we do not go there. So we will still expose our lives, but we need to make sure no one is left behind. So that is what we are doing. We are going where we are needed, and we are doing that by your support. So thank you so much, and we'll still be doing this work. Thank you.
Thank you, Philippe. Thank you. I mean, please stay safe. This is heartbreaking. We're so sorry for the loss of your colleagues, the doctors, the nurses, and what the people in Goma are going through. This is really beyond catastrophic. I mean, what else? Is the international community helping in any way? Because honestly, this is beyond the means of the people in Goma have been undergoing genocide for decades to be able to fight this huge pandemic with this very lethal virus. Anyone reaching out, an international organization, the UN, anyone reaching out to help the people, educate the people, protect the people, provide for the people?
Right now, providing for the people, no international organizations are here, but like the cases of Ebola that are confirmed are being somehow taken care of by the Red Cross. The Red Cross is coming to make sure at least they try to intervene, and in case of any person who is deceased, they are taking care of that because the family members are not even allowed to have access to the body of their people. You know, even the bodies can contaminate. So the Red Cross, we are working right now with the Red Cross, but apart from that, the international organizations have gone from Goma because of the wars. They have closed.
What else can we do, Philippe? What else can we do to support the community more?
Right now, on our side, we believe that if we could get at least the PPE materials first, this could be well. But again, we have an issue, a serious issue right now of transportation. Because like we get a call from far that people are having a suspected case of Ebola. The first thing that we tell those people is not to get in contact with the person. So they need to leave them until we reach. But now imagine we have to take a common transportation mean like a taxi. We go there, then we take the person in the taxi. But remember, this taxi has been paid. So after reaching the hospital, the guy has to go back in the road to look for other customers. Yet that car is not yet totally safe. Any person who could enter there, they are in risk. So we have all these things. At least if we could get some transportations means that are safe and the materials just to protect ourselves and some medicines now to take care of these people, it already be okay. But you're already grateful for the support that you are getting from you.
Is the transportation issue the safe passage or is it the lack of vehicles?
The vehicles are here, but we would like to have something that is purely medical. Purely medical. We shouldn't be using what normal people are using because we are exposing again the population.
Like an ambulance?
Yeah, something like that. That could be used only for the hospital and the medical affairs.
How to go about getting such a vehicle?
I beg your pardon, doctor?
How do we go about getting such a vehicle that's designated just for medical transportation for people who are suspected or exposed? This way we don't expose the rest of the public. Is there a way like you can get that vehicle, the medical one?
As I said, the international organizations that were here have already left, but you know, they didn't go with everything they were having. So they just closed the doors, the personnel, because most of them were internationals, like French people, like maybe people from Germany. But now the materials have been left here. We could get in contact with them and maybe see how we could lend or even purchase some cars they were using so that this could be helping us. Like when we go to Masisi, we could be using this because the cases are there. We find there some cases that cannot be treated from there. We had like this child who needs a surgery. We needed to take the child from Masisi to Goma, and doing that need transportations.
That's helpful. Can you reach out and see if you can lease or lend or purchase one of those vehicles, please, and let us know? Maybe we can have a campaign to support this, such a purchase. I think that can save lives.
Yeah, I will do it then this week, and maybe next Sunday when we'll be in the meeting, I will let know exactly through Adija.
Perfect. Okay, that's good. That's
Thank
good.
you, doctor.
Thank you. So let us know, please, anything we can do to help. We are here, and everyone is listening to, your report, the lived experience of the people there, and we all pray for you that this hopefully will pass. And it's really I mean, this is just a very dangerous situation. I remember even when the COVID came, COVID actually is a much less lethal virus than the Ebola. But despite that, I mean, even the Western countries, the most sophisticated, the most resourceful countries, we all saw how hard was for us as a community and as nations and healthcare system to manage through that pandemic. Uh, it must be 100 times harder with Ebola, especially that it's happening with a complete lack of resources. Phil, do you have any question for Philippe? Phil?
Yes, on June 3rd, the head of the World Health Organization made a site visit, and the World Health Organization put out a press release saying that they felt that progress was being made in the fight against Ebola. From what I've just heard, it doesn't sound like that's actually the case. Do you have any comments on that?
Yeah. Thank you, Doctor. You know, as I
Oh,
said,
also, I'm
we are
sorry,
being led.
I put a link to that press release in the chat. So
Okay, thank you.
go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, as I said, we are having like two governments. You know, the side where Ebola is, we are being controlled by rebels. These rebels are supported by Rwanda. Rwanda is a neighboring country, and Rwanda is being supported by Western powers because they need the minerals of this side. Now, the World Bank, like the World Health Organization and these international organizations do not work with rebels. That is why they left when the rebels took control of the city. So these international organizations are working with the government in Kinshasa. Kinshasa is the capital city of Goma with a normal president. So whatever they are doing there with Kinshasa is not reaching us. Yet we are the ones affected because Ebola is not in Kinshasa. Ebola is in the eastern part of Congo, and the eastern part of Congo is controlled by the rebels of M23. So that is the problem that we have. We believe they are working. Right now, we have an institution that makes the control and the check of bloods, but the headquarters are in Kinshasa. So just imagine for us to take samples of blood from here to Kinshasa. It's very complicated since we have no airport, there are no roads. So we are doing with what we can locally. With the simple and very low support that we are getting, we are trying to survive.
Yeah, I mean, the numbers are very alarming. I remember last time you were here, you said the number of cases, exposed cases, about 100 to 150, and now you're saying about 1,000 and more. So that's definitely,
They're increasing very rapidly.
yeah. Yeah, stay safe, Philippe, and please check out that vehicle. If we can designate a vehicle just for the medical transportation of people who are exposed, and try to limit the exposure of the other people from using that vehicle. So let us know,
I
check
will
it
do
out.
that.
We're here ready to help. Thank you for sharing with us. Thank you for your hard work and dedication. Thank you, Khadija, for being with us too.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll wait and hear back from you anytime, either in the WhatsApp group or through Khadija, or inshallah, maybe next week on the webinar, we'll have some updates on this.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Flip. Dania, back to you.
Hi everyone. Philippe, Hadija, my condolences to you guys. I just have to catch my breath. It's truly all just so breathtaking how we just continue to hear these things, and we haven't. I know we decided to use the phrase "shut it down," but I'll leave it to your imagination what we should be doing. I'm overwhelmed with this feeling constantly when I'm just like when I engage in just like normal things, like it just makes me just it's so nauseating that we get the privilege to live these normal lives, even those of us that are sick from genocide, while other people are just living under these conditions. But many reflections, I'll try to stay organized. one of them was Dr. Izzuddin's witness. I had chronic eczema as a baby, chronic eczema. That my mom will recount stories of how I was so miserable, just up at night crying, and she would have to put mittens on me, and I would keep her up, and I had access to Aquaphor and the steroid medication, and still this is what I went through. So to see that little baby, I just can't help but think of just all the stories that my mother would share with me, and just how, that mother just looking for any kind of cream. And I know that feeling. You almost just want something just to lubricate the area, like just to kind of bridge the spaces, your broken skin. And so that's one. Second reflection, we were just in DC on the Hill together. I guess something that stood out to me, and I know Mary Beth is still on the call. We lost Annie. Oh no, Annie's still here. Annie, thanks for flying in from the West Coast to be with us. But there was a sincere, and perhaps I'm getting soft, I don't know, but there was a sincere and genuine just gratitude for the work we do. One staffer brought up just the hostility of other groups that come into their offices and that stick cameras in their face. And I was tempted to defend these groups, because I think after witnessing such violence on our screens, it's really hard to maintain, decorum. And I think we don't give ourselves enough credit at DAG. And I just want to compliment everybody who continues to show up and advocate with us in DC. Is we have to maintain this level of conveying such like harsh, brutal tragedy, and to always be aware of the language we use, and just how effective our communication is. And while it is easier to scream and shout and stick a camera in someone's face and demand answers, I know what we end up doing is harder work. And three of the offices we met with communicated that in a really sincere way. And I think that goes for everybody, not just for those of us who are in the meeting. So thank you all, because I know the instinct is to go in there and, shut it down and scream and curse at them. But instead, it's almost a form of, I was talking to Mary Beth about this, it's almost a form of dehumanization towards ourselves, to go in there and to continue saying these people still don't have homes, these people don't have enough food, these people, that particular day was really hot in DC, and we had our bottles of water, and that privilege of just being thirsty and being able to buy a bottle of water. And I think just to have to communicate that, it's dehumanizing in itself, especially in offices where you're told, there's not much we can do. And also, I don't know if Dima's still on the call. Thank you, Dima and Ala and Muna, for all the work you do. But Dima, there's the resistance is brought up in these meetings. We don't shy away from it. I think there has to be there's a unique way of bringing up that, the resistance is a consequence of failed US foreign policy. And I feel like we have to name that. If not, it's a very dishonest conversation that we're having in these offices, and we're kind of tiptoeing. But what we did during our meetings was, these kids that have watched, their homes being lost, displaced 100 times, their family members, their own limbs being amputated, what does that do to a child's psyche? So I think I want to let you know, Dima, we don't shy away from that conversation. It's about how you communicate it and convey it, especially to a very propagandized American mind. So thank you all for the work you do. And yeah, that's I think I covered everything.
Yeah, thank you, Dania. So why do you only mention Mary Beth into this discussion? Just because she's your friend? Yani, how about us? We did work too.
Well, no, I particularly mentioned her because Mary Beth and Annie and Marta and I were all on the same team, and it was an excellent team, no complaints. The dynamic of a team, yields successful meetings, I believe. So that's why she was mentioned. But no, many of you are here, and thank you to everybody that drove in, flew in, trained it in. Yeah.
Do you agree, Maribeth? Do you agree with this message?
Actually, no, Danya and I had discussed different points of view as that idea of like the people coming in with the cell phones in their faces and how exhausted the staffers are. I think there's an opportunity, like for her, like a mental health person who's practiced at this, to reflect it back to them in a way that they can receive, to reflect it back like, oh gosh, it must be really hard for these folks who are saying the same things for 3 years now. I'm sure that's very frustrating for them, just like it's hard for you. And you hate to have to kind of work it that way. But yet it also then like opens up further conversation versus a person shutting down. Likewise, I say you don't have to be too quick to defend groups of folks who go in with the cameras in the face or whatever. They know what they're doing and they can take it. Whatever shit talking happens about them, they don't care. They're true to mission. They're going to keep doing what they do. So like for me, just as like the local white lady, you don't ever have to defend me. Don't defend my honor. Use how much of a pain in the ass I am to grease the skid to get yourself in, to deliver your own message of and for yourself and your own people. Like, don't risk, yeah, I'll be fine, right? And those other groups, they'll be fine. We don't necessarily want to be like disloyal to the cause, but also keep yourself in the door too, right? So it's a balance. Yeah, every month you go to DC, it feels like you're pleading to an abusive parent.
Yes, yes.
Right? To an abusive, narcissistic parent, please stop abusing our children. Please stop abusing our loved ones, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that can feel a little dirty sometimes.
But if it works,
we all keep pulling in the same direction with the bits of rope we can hold on to, right?
Yeah.
So I have an event tonight with the Anti-Imperialist Veterans Group. We are hosting a screening of a documentary called Sir No Sir about the GI resistance against the Vietnam War, as we continue to try and build a footprint to push back against the militarized sort of propaganda. I gotta watch my language. That's the filter just kicked in.
Since when, Marybeth? Since
what?
when? Since when?
Well, because we're filming. Because really, think about it. What is actually going to contribute to stopping this genocide? I'm not talking direct action like protests. Direct action as in interrupting supply lines.
No.
Yeah. But what is, SB says, direct action saves lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is a new slogan. Okay. It is very important, because if we disable Albit for 2 weeks, you will have a whole lot of drones not manufactured.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, direct action is not for everybody, right? Like we need a combination of all those tactics.
No. Only I can't do it. I'm too old. I can't climb over the factory gate to
I think you can.
I think you can.
I love it.
Actually, I think you can totally pull it off.
I love that that's the barrier, though, Doctor.
Can you imagine?
You can see she's thought about this. She's like, would I actually be dead weight on a team if I have to climb over a fence?
Yeah,
yes,
I thought about it.
But though she thought about it,
not possible. Yeah. Will be a hindrance and liability. Okay.
I think there is also a value in diversifying our tactics. We don't all need to do the same thing or the same strategy, the same methodology. We have to like attack them from all different angles. Everyone with their comfort level, everyone with what they can do. And I really welcome having different approaches to this. In a way, it's a strength, not a weakness, because if they go against one group or something, we don't want to risk the whole movement to go down at the same
No,
time.
no,
It's
no.
always good to have different approaches, and
Yeah.
some people, maybe the direct approach, direct action works best for them sometimes.
Mhm.
Other people, maybe it's better to approach them more professionally in a different way. So we'll keep trying. I mean, this is a work in progress. None of us have lived this before. We're all trying
Yeah.
to, even DAG itself, I mean, even our strategy, our methodology have evolved in the past 2 years. And what we do now, or what we know now, is something maybe we did not do it exactly the same, or know it exactly the same at the
Mhm.
beginning. And we're still open to improvement, and every input, every way, every idea, any suggestion to make more impact, we're open to, and we're open to internalize and you know improve our work. So yeah, everything is welcome. Dima, I know you're Canadian, but you can also join us in DC. That's maybe the only good thing about the system.
Canadian.
States is anyone is welcome. You don't need appointments. They don't check your ID. They don't. We have the American.
And you have the fake American
Hawash.
me,
We have the American Maisa Hawash who comes there and tells them I pay taxes,
and I
and
don't.
you're not paying my taxes, although she's Canadian.
I speak like I'm American. I'm like, and then you're gonna lose the elections because look what your voter base is like. I mean, whatever. They
She
listen.
lives in New York, if anybody asks.
She lives in New
Yeah.
York.
Okay. Right. She got an address. Yeah.
So
Thank
come,
you, Dr.
come
Actually,
Nadine.
last time I did say I was Canadian, and it was
Oh,
like it
good.
didn't make any difference, and they were like, "Oh, great, thanks for coming."
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, "Okay, yeah."
They're like,
Canadian.
oh, you're probably going to be nicer than the rest of these Americans.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we
Yeah.
can talk some sense into the Canadian.
Yes. But
So
doesn't
Does Ola have citizenship already, Canadian citizenship, or no?
no, Ola's on a student visa.
Oh, student visa. Okay, so no, we want to spare Ola. Mona has a citizenship or no?
Yes,
I do. I was
You
born on these settler colonial lands.
Yeah. So actually, if you can join us next to this July 22nd, you and Dima, we can have another presentation about anti-Palestinian racism there in person. We can do it at we have a usual dinner before the day of the advocacy day and dinner of the day off. So if you can pull it, you and Mesa, that will be great.
What is it? July when?
Inshallah, Jazak
July
Allah khair. Thank
22nd.
you.
Oh yeah, I might be back. Yeah, I'll be back from Palestine, inshallah.
Yeah, if you are back, we can do it. Actually, this will be a great presentation. We can do it at Bawadi. Bawadi is a restaurant in DC that's owned by a Palestinian from Gaza, and it's the closest food you can ever eat that is,
Palestinian. Yeah.
feels exactly the same. The food in Gaza, it's like the best food.
I have to say the Palestinians in the exile in Canada, they do Palestinian food much better than the Americans. Sorry, yeah.
Better than Bawadi?
Yeah, I mean, we have very authentic Palestinian food here.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's okay. No, sorry.
Fantastic.
Bawadi is the best.
I love the Bawadi. I love Bawadi. But it's probably one of the few. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Me-
I'm going to do
Mesa
it
took
at
us to
home.
Palestine house and eat tabbouleh.
Oh
Fantastic.
yeah, I ate so much tabbouleh like 3
I
times
know
a
that.
day, I think.
Yeah.
Hadil,
The food, the
Yeah, go
food
ahead.
at Bawadi is so good that the Israelis pretend that they invented it.
Really?
Yeah.
Hadil, are you with us, Hadil?
That's just a comment.
am.
Hadil, if you are with us, why you're asking questions in the chat and making comments? Why don't you come and say it yourself?
I didn't want to interrupt.
How are you
Take
feeling?
our
Are you
face,
feeling better
Hadil.
now? Are you feeling better?
I'm still in my boots, but I'm ready to go. I leave for Egypt on Wednesday.
Oh,
Oh.
wow.
How
Salam
long are you
alaikum.
going to be in
So
Egypt? I'm going to Egypt on Wednesday, Hadil. Maybe
you
I'll see
are?
you. Wallah.
Yeah, let's connect. My trip includes like Egypt, and I'm gonna go visit our medical graduates in Germany, and then go to Jordan, and then back to Egypt. So I'll be out of the country for like 6 weeks.
Yeah, I'm only stopping there for
Yeah.
11 hours.
Wallah, you and Maisa are becoming very famous, international, every day in a different country. But
That's
Well,
the
I,
Yeah.
I was wondering, like
Yes.
the story from the nurse in Gaza, he was pushing the plane, and now we're complaining about too much flying. Yeah, the irony.
Yeah,
Couldn't
that's why I'm not
stop.
complaining. People are like, "Are you sure you could travel with the boot on your foot?" I was like, "That's what you're concerned about?" I said, I need you to donate and sponsor all the work that everybody's doing. That's what I'm concerned about." But it's good. Yeah, I mean,
Adil,
we're
to answer your question, there is no advocacy day in August because the Congress is in recession in August and October. So the only
okay.
month coming up are going to be July 22nd and I think September 24th. But August
September
and
24th.
October.
Okay,
Yeah, go ahead. You had great comments, great questions in the chat. Go ahead, please.
right. So, so the Illinois Dad Group, since the last time that I was at the Hill was during the 1,000 Coats in April. So we touched base with Tammy Duckworth's office and basically demanded that as they give airtime to other organizations that go in, like it was appalling that as we were waiting, APAC was coming out of her office. And then as we were leaving, JPAC was coming in. So it was like, what's the airtime that you give to the other side? And so, we got the runaround and whatnot. But I think if people can push that, if you can't make it to the advocacy days, one day itself is not enough because there are so many other different organizations that are taking up airtime. But if you're a constituent, I really do urge all of you to email your representatives and your senators' offices and demand from them that they give you a half hour or an hour a month with a group of people for you to tell them. And they're saying that they want updates, which makes me cringe sometimes because it's like, wait a minute, you have this information before it hits the news. So, but I think in terms of like, if other people are going to take up their calendar time, we should also do the same. So I encourage all of you to do that. And always have people on your team people who may be a little bit more passive. And some people are a little bit more aggressive and demanding. And I think that's good to have that balance. Because that's just what's needed. And it doesn't seem that there's an end in sight to anything anytime soon because Israel just bombed the hell out of Lebanon today again, even though there was supposed to be a signed treaty agreement or something or a ceasefire that was supposed to happen today. So I think, I run a nonprofit that's an educational organization to help support students from Gaza. But I think that if we just educate the mass public, it helps. I think even with Representative Massey losing his primary, I think that made a huge statement and it's opening the eyes of a lot of Americans who would not have thought about what is happening in the occupied territories and in Gaza, how that is now then impacting what is happening in the world. And as we see what's happening in Albania, and there's actually was an article that came out on Puerto Rican Independence Day about what's happening in Puerto Rico, that acres of land shoreline was purchased to make resorts for the elite. So I think this is a global issue that hopefully as we open our eyes and really take a look at what's happening in Palestine, that this is a worldwide problem. It is not just something that's isolated to Palestine. So so I think it's critically important to do that. For anybody who's in Illinois, there is an event happening Tuesday in Evanston. It's a documentary of 5 broken cameras, and activists from Palestine will actually be there. Iyad will be there to have as a part of a panel discussion. So I encourage all of you to sort of just go out and participate. Like find your niche and just do it. So if it's boycotting, I'm actually at a Heal Palestine event today, like Kites for Palestine. Whatever your thing is, just do what makes you comfortable. Just do it with fidelity. Be consistent. And yes, give. I heard Annie earlier saying, give until it makes you a little bit uncomfortable. Yeah, because Islamically, even if you give to the point where even like you're in debt, Allah will reward you. And I'm hoping whether you're Muslim or not, it's a good cause. It's a good faith to support Palestinians. We are not just one religion. or any religion for that matter. It's a humanitarian thing, like find your humanity. Nidan, was that okay? Are we good?
That's good, good, yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Be safe and safe travel. And
Thank
thank
you.
you for all the work that you do. And Hadil is
Appreciate
running
it.
a profit called Education Rising, supporting the
Yes.
medical student and education system in Gaza and in Egypt. Please support Hadil, support Education Rising. If you want to put the link, Hadil, in the chat.
Yeah, I'll put it in there. And then if we're working on a new initiative, I've had a lot of Palestinian students for all of the doctors on the call who actually successfully matched. Many of them have been denied visas. So they've gone to the US embassies wherever they are. And because they are Palestinian, they have been denied their visas, even though they've passed step 1, high scoring step 2, gone through the ERAS application, gotten letters of acceptance and offers from hospitals in the US, and are being denied visas. They cannot come and do their residencies because they are Palestinian. And even those who are applying and have temporary Jordanian passports are being denied as well. And I also found out yesterday, a lot of Egyptian medical students who are Egyptian have also been denied. So this has now become an issue of, if you're Arab, you're being denied. Sounds like racism to me. So that's the next thing that I'm going to be working on. So hopefully, as you're reaching out to your elected officials, we have a physician shortage in the US. So it's over like 21,000 right now. And by 2036, the anticipated shortage is supposed to be over 83,000. And it is getting worse because we are not letting IMGs come and fulfill their dreams and a service that we need here in the US.
You know why they don't care? Because they think they're going to replace doctors with AI. That's the plan.
Same thing with educators and teachers.
Totally.
And we know that that's not true. I mean, in the field of education, for anybody who had gone through COVID and your kids learned remotely, there is now a learning gap. And that's why I respect truly the teachers that are in Gaza who are holding all of these informal camps where they are training moms. How do you continue with your education with your child while schools are not functioning? And so schools that were solely based on like laptops, and you just open a laptop and you find your curriculum on there, there's actually a new movement to go back to learning with paper and pencil.
Yeah. I think they want the medicine of Robert Kennedy to be the rule of the land now. No vaccines and all these things. So maybe that's why they don't want smart foreign graduates, medical graduates, to come here. I think Mona had a comment or a question about what you said, Hadil. Mona, are you there? Then after that, Phil also has another question. Go ahead, Mona.
Yeah, I actually put my hand up before Hadil spoke, but I do want to say I really appreciate your remarks around AI and education as an educator, as somebody who's been in the K to post-secondary schooling systems for over 25 years. I cannot emphasize enough how, of course, I think everybody here knows how evil AI is generally, not because it's inherently, but the ways that these corporations and organizations and these businesses and these billionaires, trillionaires have been using them as using AI as a weapon, not just to develop weapons. But I'm going to go to what I was originally going to ask. And that is one of the things that I wanted to ask was Doctors Against Genocide, do you do work related to evacuating people out of Gaza to get medical treatment? Is that something that you are working in collaboration with? Because one of my dear sisters and friends, her family member is a doctor in Gaza, and that has been something that is just almost impossible to do. Is he needs medical treatment. And so that was the question that I had.
No, I mean, unfortunately, we don't do this. We don't have a lot of experience or connection with this. And it's, as you said, it's very complicated. You need a lot of connections and a lot of connections, especially with Israelis. And we were never comfortable with this, honestly. Even the WHO and the UN are having problems and struggling with this. So we chose to focus more on helping the people on the ground to stay there, to try to fix whatever we can fix there. And even for those cases who need treatment outside, if there is a way we can rebuild a clinic or a hospital or an intervention in Gaza that can save some of those lives, we kind of focus more on that. But I do agree that still some cases are too complicated to be in Gaza. And a lot, I mean, there are thousands of people who do need to be evacuated. But unfortunately, we don't have the logistics for that so far. Some
Is
groups, organizations focus more on that, but not DAG.
not
Go
done.
ahead.
I just had a question. Is it like a surgical intervention? Because we actually pay for surgeries that are being pushed because they're considered elective or non direct trauma related. That's number
Yeah.
one. And number two is because there's such a backlog right now with evacuations and of course with the dehumanization. So the men are the least on the priority. So they've prioritized children, women sometimes. So this is part of the structural issue, of course.
Yeah, of course. But yeah,
There's
it is a
18,000
really
children
invasive.
that are on the backlog right now.
Yeah,
18,000 yeah.
it's an advanced and invasive form of cancer.
Actually, do you think, Nidal, this can be referred to our Sahaba?
If it's cancer, I don't know. If it's advanced, I think it will need just more than surgery. It will need a lot of chemotherapy and other things, you know. But I mean, we can discuss this more. We can try to know more about the case, discuss with more with the doctors in Gaza, see what they can do. And again, I mean, there are organizations who focus more on evacuations. We can check with them, but it's not going to be through us. But we can try it as much as we can to help. But it is tough and it is sad, and the need is huge.
Yeah,
There
thank
is
you
no
so much.
money. Yeah, thank you, Mona. Thank you. I appreciate it. Phil, just before that, regarding the AI, and I don't know, I don't follow Musk a lot, but I know he just became the first human being to become a trillionaire, and he just launched something about SpaceX or something. Is that the one that going to Mars, or what is it? Because honestly, the best solution for humanity is to ship Musk and all those mega billionaires and all the ones who are exploiting all of us, or all the ones who are abusing the AI, just get those 1,000, 2,000 people, ship them to Mars. They can have Mars on their own and leave us alone here for, I think
Yes, that's
the planet
he
will be
wants to
much
he wants
better.
to occupy Mars. He actually has
Better.
the
Yeah,
slogan
yeah,
called
that's fine. He
Occupy
can
Mars.
go and take Mars, just leave us alone. I think humanity, this planet will be much better off without people like him and his allikes. Go ahead, Phil. Maybe you are the one who's going to help us. You have the solutions for this.
No, I wanted to give a shout out to the students. I really had the privilege of having 4 students, 1 nursing student, 3 medical students with me in Washington. And our first visit was to Representative Dean, and we had quite a conversation before about whether she was what her stance was, because on the one hand, she has taken a lot of APAC money. On the other hand, she has recently announced that she won't take any. And during our conversation, she put forth a very positive view to us about being sympathetic to our cause and so forth. And at that point, one of the students, Narayan Spore, said, I'm sorry, but I just have to say this. I am brown, and when I come into this office, I don't see anything at all that speaks to me. What I did see when we first came in the office is that on the front desk, when you come into the office, there's always a desk on each side. On the front desk, there are 5 posters of Israeli hostages. their pictures. He is a grandfather, she is a daughter, etc. And right here behind me, there's an Israeli flag. So please tell me why the way you decorate your office says the opposite of what you're telling us right now. And he did it in a way that was very sincere. It was not offensive. It wasn't aggressive. It was simply stating, this is what you're saying, and this is what I am seeing. Can you please explain? And it totally changed the conversation. And I'm very anxious when we go back in July to walk into her office, or at least look through the door to see if those posters are still there. And I hope we'll go back and see her and see what happened. So again, we talk about the students come and listen and learn, but they also have things to say, and it was terrific.
Yep. Thank you, Phil. And I think we walked by many of the offices who still continue to have the pictures of the hostages there on their wall in the entrance outside. And we did go inside a few of them, and we told them, I mean, the hostages are all home now. Maybe it is time to put.
Newsflash.
Yeah.
It's our hostages that are,
Yeah, there
kept.
are 10,000 hostages still there. Maybe it's time to remove that picture and replace it with either the 10,000 Palestinian hostages or the 100 doctors and healthcare workers or the 350 children. And honestly, one of them promised us he will think about it. So we're going to follow up on this. And most
We can
probably
make the posters and donate it to them.
yeah,
Actually.
exactly. No, we're gonna actually, yeah, we're gonna prepare a poster of the children and the doctor and take it with us and offer it to these offices, since those hostages are all back with their families. It's time to put pictures of the other hostages if you really care about humanity and equality and whatever you champion as
Yeah.
you know.
I would
equal
like to
rights
take
for-
that part from the leave behind that has the doctors and how many days they've been hostages and make that into a poster and offer it every time we go into a place that still has those other ones, offer them our poster.
I
Ask
can
them to
update
put
that.
it up.
I can update that because now it's more days since it was last published. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Thanks.
maybe put the pictures next to them too. I think.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, these posters, it was individual posters for individual hostages, and it had a big picture of each person and a little tiny bit of their background, and we can do the
Well, yeah,
same.
Phil, last month, Mary Gay Scanlon's office asked for the Dr. Abu Safia poster from us when we were there. And I left that
Yeah.
poster with them. And I haven't seen it up yet, but I need to re-engage now and see, like, what is the barrier? Like, do I need to, like, do you want a poster that it doesn't have a DAG symbol on it? Because then you're supporting a specific group versus
Mhm.
the overall cause. And it's, I'm wondering if they would need to be
Yeah,
not
that's a good
labeled
point.
as one organization's property per se, or just that it's about the person, the mission, the work on the
Yeah,
ground.
because we're just one of many, many, many groups who come through those offices, and how they're decorated actually has a big impact.
Maybe actually this is something we can ask them when we send the emails, Dania and Iman. If any of these offices is interested to put pictures of the hostages, there's 350 children hostages in Israel. There's 100 healthcare workers. They can pick whatever poster they want to put, but if they're interested, we can prepare it and bring it to them with the logo or without a logo.
Yeah, I can ask them that. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't see why it would be an issue, especially for like some of the offices that are allied and feel like they can't do anything, anything more. So I feel like that would kind of be like an easy thing for them to agree to doing and just keeping the issue at the forefront too.
I really think it's great to walk into these, buildings and seeing the pictures of the children or the doctors or any of the Palestinian hostages. It actually it's going to be very impactful if any few of these officers do accept, and actually it might start a trend. Like if few of them accept to do it, others might start maybe interested in doing that. So it keeps their voice or their question or their plight alive. Yeah, let's when we send emails, please let's check. We can start with the most friendly offices, the ones we think we have a better chance with them. And if we can get few, it will be easier to expand it and ask more officers to join.
Oh, by the way, you guys met with Van Hollen, right? In person?
Yeah, Quran did.
Yeah, nobody. No, I think Khurram here. Khurram
Yeah,
was in that.
Can we get an
I,
update about when?
yeah, that was probably one of the, I think, the best meetings I've been in since we've been doing this. Mainly because we didn't have to audition for empathy. You know, anything and everything that was going to come out of our mouths, he was already aware of it a lot of times, even before we were.
Who
And
is this?
it
I'm
was
sorry.
Senator
Who is it?
Van Hollen from Maryland.
Oh,
So we only got about maybe 15, 20 minutes with him. Unfortunately, he had to go to another meeting, but it was really refreshing to be around somebody, you know, in Congress that, again, we did not have to audition for that empathy. That it was as clear as day. He was actively working on the current kidnap casing right now, with the four girls that recently got kidnapped as well. And he was actually interested before we ended the conversation, asking about the Gaza 18 campaign that we had, and if we can fill him in as much as possible with any more information with regards to Dr. Abu Safia, and as well with the other colleagues as well too. So I haven't gotten a chance to write the follow-up email yet for him, but I figured if we can maybe get him in contact with either Dr. Busafia's son, since he's generally you know, in direct contact with a lot of these people back and forth in West Bank and in Palestine as well. So if we can get him in contact with Dr. Busafia's son, he can maybe, you know, increase our campaign's image that way through his voice, like he's been doing with everything else. The other thing, right before he left, so I have another meeting actually scheduled next week with my other senator. In Maryland, we have Van Hollen, who we all know has been great. The other one, also Brooks. I haven't been too happy with her since the beginning. This is her first term, first time being in Congress.
She's
I heard.
Democrat?
Yeah, she's a Democrat. You know, from my colleagues, I've heard that, you know, she's done a 180 and stuff. She's much, much better. And I was kind of confused because I didn't see that. I think they were saying that based off of her words or their staffers' words, not so much her actions, because that's the part that was kind of confusing to me when I heard that she's far better. And I gauged that at the meeting right before we had Van Hollen's was the also Brooks meeting with her staffer. I'm trying to remember his name. John. I can't remember his name right now. But the thing with that meeting, very uncomfortable during that meeting. Although it appeared that the staffer was saying, Jonathan Lord, there you go, that was his name. Although it appeared that, you know, what the staffer was trying to portray to us was very sympathetic, but when we started referring to the NDAA and why also Brooks supports it, and to help explain to us, you know, or educate us about the NDAA's process and whatnot, his explanation went on, almost in a giddy way of explaining how important that they're even getting the opportunity to be able to participate in an NDA is. So he was saying words like how it was so exciting for them and their staff to be a part of this, that he was going home and he would dream about like how great of this thing is for them to be a part of. Nothing to do with like, you know, no care about the integration between militaries, basically justifying or trying to justify to us that the end result that they're trying to attain with this NDAA justifies the means for it. So it didn't really matter about us discussing, you know, Israel or Palestine, or any of that to sway them from voting against the NDAA. So when I had the meeting with Van Hollen, the last question I asked him before he left, I was sitting right next to him. Last question I asked him was, that I know he's unable to, because of his position, to kind of use her name specifically. But my question to you is the best possible scenario here to work with also Brooks about, speaking about the NDAA. Would it be better to utilize the Israel-Palestine kind of argument, or to focus more on the top line, which is the money part of the NDAA? And then I said that my thought here, based off of my last meeting and all the correspondence that I've had back and forth with them based on emails, and them continuously using words like being sympathetic towards what's happening in Palestine, but every measure that I make is in support of Israel's full right to defend itself, and blah, blah, blah. That always has to be entered in there. So what I said was that my thought here is I think the best approach would be to focus more on the top line money part. And his response to me was that I hit the nail on the head, and that's exactly right, specifically regarding to her. So that was very insightful to hear. I think you brought up money earlier on too. I think that's a part that, a lot of us, of course, aren't really as educated on how to speak about. So what I was planning on doing is, speaking to Brittany more about that to get some insight on how best to approach that conversation. I still want to also, of course, bring up
Maybe Annie can help too,
Annie as well too. Yes,
with
yes.
her
I still
money
want to
back.
also. The one other thing I was thinking of is, because since Phil brought it up with what Narayan did, is I have such a big problem with the hypocrisy of these people. Is also Brooks has been very, very outspoken with regards to ICE detention centers. And since I have a lot of experience with that as well too, with actually being on the ground there, um, that hypocrisy bothers me so much, because rightfully so, when she speaks about, what is happening to children in these detention centers, even as far as the fact that they, the amount of trauma that is being inflicted on them, with them not being able to be either with their parents, or the fact that they're not in school anymore. Literally, all that can be translated to the million children that are trapped under siege in Gaza. So the fact that there's no emphasis on there clearly shows the hypocrisy, that they're okay and very vocal to talk about it here, but it doesn't matter if we're sending, money to do the exact same thing to millions of kids in Gaza. So to that point, like I'm gonna try to also bring up the kind of hypocrisy around that, obviously in a subtle way, but just to kind of tie it in, because she's been very, very vocal with regards to these detention facilities and so on there as well. But my meeting, I actually have a meeting directly with her, not her staffer, next week. That one, John and I are going to.
Great.
Khudram, who's doing the follow-up with Van Halen's office?
Myself.
Okay.
If you want to help me, I mean, by all means.
No, I just wanted to, if we can get it out like ASAP.
Yeah, I know. That's the only thing. That's why I'm asking if there's any help. I'm trying to, get it done as soon as I can. A little stretched thin, that's all.
Because in regard to like getting the doctors out, like I know I can speak for my group. We didn't really have anything, like any substantial, not even a fake promise. And from everybody I talked to, it seems like that was kind of the general kind of sentiment from everybody. Is nobody got any, just not even like a fake, like we'll try to do something, which is really sad. So if they gave you like even just a glimmer of being able to do something for the doctors that are in custody, that are in dungeons,
Can you, Kuram, can you also please check with us before you send the response, so we all kind of check?
I was gonna say, Dania, if you don't mind, could you actually help me with that? Just because I want to make sure that we're able to give Van Hollen all the proper information that he needs with regards to Dr. Abu Sofia's case, and if we want to get him in contact with his son as well too, that
Actually, his wife is
information.
preparing a video, a special appeal. His wife is working on it as we speak.
Yeah.
So hopefully, just let's start working on the email.
Yeah.
And we have maybe Dania, Iman, and us, and copy advocacy at Doctors Against Genocide. And let's all agree that, we send him the best email and the best update and connection. And hopefully if her video is ready by then, maybe we can include her video into the email too. Because she's gonna be
Yeah.
sending the appeal. They are preparing the video as we speak.
Yeah, definitely need to prioritize that. So, Danya, if you don't mind helping with that. The other thing, the poster idea is a great thing. I think with if we can do one Mesa with the kids, and then maybe my meeting is on the 22nd. I'll actually print one of them out and kind of sway in the conversation with regards to the kids and detainees and whatnot, and then also have that poster with me as well. One to humanize the kids, but also ask if they would be willing to in their office, to put that up or anything.
Okay, so we're going with the children, not the healthcare workers, the doctors.
We'll do both. I mean, we can do both.
Yeah, I think a nice chart of like what Mesa has on the back of our, I think that would make like an excellent, and maybe kind of get like pictures, faces of the doctors, right? So
yeah, that we
Yeah.
have, we can get easily,
we'll
but I don't have the pictures of the children detainees. I'm sure we can figure out a way to get it, but I don't have.
I think I can get it for you. I can get it. I think I mean there is a group that actually works with the children. I forgot who, but we can get the one for the
Oh
children.
yeah, not a talk of children, non-numbers or some this organization.
Yeah, we should, Mesa, we should definitely do both. I was just thinking, I'll split it up specifically for her office, just because if I was going to go with the conversation of the hypocrisy between, the kids here versus the kids there, that I was going to kind of like put that into the conversation. That's all.
Sure, thank you.
Yeah.
There's also the Defense of the Children International. I know they
that's what
stopped
that's what I think. Yeah, I think they would
we
have.
we have her name. We have her name. She's with us in one of the groups. Maybe she can at least give us the picture of the children.
Yeah.
What's her name? Which group is she with us? Defense of the Children International.
Dr. Sweet, are you going to join us in July?
No, I can't.
Why not?
Listen. I was about to ask you when was the August? When are you going in August?
Well, August, that we're not going to be in DC in August, so maybe September for our second big 1,000 White Coats event.
Which part of September? Because I'll be in Lebanon.
Oh, I'll tell you in 1 second.
Okay.
Yeah, the September one should be a big one.
Speaking of Lebanon, the War Powers Act. Sorry, Danya, go ahead.
No, I was just telling Dr. Sweet, probably the 24th of September.
We'll be in Lebanon.
You'll be in Lebanon? Okay.
Yeah.
That's all right. We got to resist on all fronts. So somebody's got to be.
But anyway, you do it all the time. So I cannot get out of it. I have to come with you sometime. Okay.
I know.
And July is when?
The 22nd.
22nd. Okay. I will see if I can rejig some stuff. Okay.
Amazing.
The day itself is 22nd, right? I don't know
So you
yet.
guys know though, Van Hollen was very, very aware of the work that we were doing, and he was very appreciative of it as well too.
Right.
Yeah, I just messaged the DCI, Mesa. Hopefully they will respond. If we get the pictures, the healthcare workers, I think we have them. It's easier to get the healthcare workers.
Amazing.
But that's great, yes. Yeah, once we have the posters, actually we can make few of them, or we can also share the PDF of those posters here in DAG so anyone can use them locally or for any other means they need. That will be good. That's an answer to you, Andrea Klein-Ness in Ohio. I'm here in Michigan, so we can just throw one from the state on the state lines to Ohio, or hopefully we can send a digital copy to all the members and share it here so people can print it out. Yeah, let's work on it. Thank you, Andrea. Yep, so the name, description is going to be the picture, the name, how long have they been detained, and a few details, yeah. And honestly,
There's also,
I know a lot of people have been happy about these large displays of the children, of the names of the children who got killed in Gaza, 18,000 or 20,000, 21,000. And of course, I mean, this is important. I know in Europe they're doing it. Here in the United States, actually in Dearborn, they just had the display on, 2 days ago, and it's going to be there for a whole month. And I know that does honor these people, their names, but every time I look at it, something inside me hurts.
It makes me so
But
angry.
it's not just a name. It's just not a name. It's not just put their name on a piece of paper. That is not really enough to acknowledge and to honor these children. It's like each one
Yeah.
is not just a whole human being, it's a whole life. Each child is a son of a family. Each child is a brother, is a sister. I know people are trying to help, but still, I mean, I try to avoid even going there because I just don't want to see it. I
They
don't
were all
feel.
someone's universe, like
Yeah.
What's
18
that?
universes. Like every one of those kids was a universe
Yeah.
themselves,
Yeah, I
Just
mean, think of our children. For our children, each one of our children here is a whole universe.
Yeah.
It's a whole life. It is a whole
Yeah.
future that's stolen. It's not just you took one life. You stole a whole future because each
Yeah.
child actually is gonna grow up and become a parent and have their
Yeah.
siblings, their family, and their job, their
Children.
business.
Yeah.
So it's a multifold crime. And I mean, I really appreciate all the people who are trying to help. It just hurts me. I cannot look at those big sheets of paper just showing names and stuff like that. In a way, I think it is still dehumanizing. It's not. I don't know.
It
I
is,
don't
but
know.
here's the thing, like I
I
think
agree with you
visually,
100%. I think it's absolutely dehumanizing. I think the intention is pure, the intention is there. And I think
yeah,
it kind of reminds me of like what Dima touched on today. Like, how like some people are ready to like, shut it down. Others are ready to get, do the research and put all these names together. And I think, like the resistance on all different fronts is like some people feel like that's a labor of love, but I actually do think it's dehumanizing. And I think it's just lumping all those names together and then almost turning it into this like abstract art piece. And it's
Yeah.
just, and I don't want to discourage anybody from doing that. I know the labor that goes into compiling. I participated in an event where we read the names, and I was part of the planning of finding all the names, and that took so much time. So I'm fully aware of the time and effort that goes into doing something like this. So I don't want to minimize the efforts, but
Well, and do you feel like there was a difference in these names back, say, like November 2023, when it was a shorter list and each name
Yes.
carried maybe more weight?
Yeah.
yeah,
But
like
the more
when I did
names
this,
that get added to the list, the more of its statistic they become. And that's kind of part of how it became dehumanizing over time, is because the list keeps growing.
Yeah, when I
but
participated in this, it was like maybe 6-8 months after, so the list was significantly shorter. But I think even like the people that were involved in the planning and how they separated them by age, like there was so much love that was put into it. But it's at this point, it's just like, wait, I mean, it's just it's disgusting, and it's like,
Have you all been to the Vietnam Memorial in Washington? How many of
No.
you have been to the Vietnam Memorial?
I've been.
None of you.
Yeah.
I've been.
So it's just names, but it's
Yeah.
very sobering. It's very moving.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like it dehumanized anybody. You knew as you looked at each name that was a son, a
person.
brother, a husband, etc.
And a very different context, Bill.
No, like
a very
No, I
different
know.
context.
I think
know,
to me
but
the disconnect is the genocide is still happening, right? Like we're not yet at a point where we're gonna be like creating a memorial. We need accountability and justice, and then we can do that kind of work. But to me, like we're not done fighting this genocide. So I feel like it's done with the right intention, but a little bit of okay, so we did this and now we did our job and off we go. When real work is confronting genocide and holding perpetrators accountable.
So the one perspective that I can think of when it does come to that, obviously with that many list of names, it's incredibly difficult to have like a picture next to each and every one. But
No, not of those thousands.
right, the size of it though, because what I've seen where some people, unfortunately, it's troublesome for them to be able to identify with a single picture, but with some visuals where, let's say, they're able to show like this many kids that fit into a football stadium where somebody here in the West can actually visualize and it would make sense into their head, then it would actually connect. You know what I mean? So those would not even necessarily be named, but they would just be like figures filling up. You would see a visual and it would populate whether a football field or something like that. Because people can imagine, there's 50,000 seats, I believe, in a football stadium or something, and they can be able to picture that being full, but that's full of kids that actually died. So there is some positive, just from a Western lens approach that I can think of, because they're not going to be thinking of it the way we are, unfortunately, where with our lens. So from that framework, even what Phil brought up right now, there are people who again, we might not, but this is how they connect the dots in their head. So it does hold a place to some populations, obviously not all, but there is a place for it.
I know we hate AI, but as we all said,
I can do it.
AI can be used for good also. I mean, it's not all bad. It all depends. Like any other tool, you can use it for good. But I wonder if we can have a project for the AI to create not just the names, just create their own pictures. Anyway, I mean, like a full
The
body.
age, pictures.
Yeah, I mean, the same AI that targeted them to kill them, I know it does know their names, it does know their faces, it does know how they
Or the
look like.
location.
I don't know who's good at this, but I'm sure there is a way that to have the AI create a full display of their full body, not just the face and the name and stuff like that. It might be a digital, display, but still.
No, in fact, the first time I saw pictures, you see, was first Intifada. I came to speak in Chicago, and then they have a big map of Palestine with pictures, small little pictures of everyone killed, and they packed it all in. You see, that was really very impactful. But
I think the most impactful like displays for the children I've seen are the ones that are shoes, because it reminds that they space. So there's something
about the shoes
clinical about the list of names. Like you're just adding a spreadsheet that exists somewhere, but like when you see them and they have the little shoes, the little backpacks, it's
the
like
shoes
this
display.
visceral,
I'll get my
punch. Like there was a child that occupied physical space. 18 children who occupied physical space.
That's a great idea.
T-shirt or something like that.
Humanize, not just a piece of paper. Yeah, the
Because
more we
I
can.
skip over them. You know what I mean? Like I've never gone to the memorial in Washington, because the first time I went to Washington D.C. was for DAG, and now when I go there, I don't think of it as like a place to see the country's history. I just, you know what I mean? Like I can't do the tourist thing. But when people go to see the Vietnam Memorial, they're already going there understanding the gravity of the names that they're seeing, right? They're seeking out a family member, someone, a specific name, but these people are disconnected from the names of these children. Like they can't even pronounce the names of our children, and so it just visually, it just feels like people are just running their eyes over and not really reading the name, the age, or anything like that. Like it feels like people are being lost. Who was it? Was it Stalin that said one death's a tragedy and millions a statistic? It starts to feel like they've just become statistics in people's minds because they can't comprehend 18,000 children.
Speaking of that, and since we have been brainstorming the idea of DAG headquarters in DC, maybe if Karam help us, and maybe if we can get a very rich donor to buy that headquarters for us, that would be the first place to display actual full-size pictures of 18,000.
You mean by a wall?
Not on the
was in Monaco
recently. I hit him up for billionaires. the roof of that building, put a full display, or actually one of the floors, use it as a full display of those children. And not even the children, actually, everyone, because it's not just the children, it's their mothers, their fathers, the grandfathers.
But Palestine Museum did an exhibition on the floor.
What's that?
Palestine Museum in London. They got this. They went this big building, but then they were told that they cannot display anything on the walls. The walls are for something else. So Pfizer put everything on the floor. So
That's
yeah,
why
as you
we're
come
buying the
in,
whole building. That's why we're buying the building ourselves, so we can do whatever we want, not to listen to them.
buy the
But
building.
actually,
No, you rent the floor. You might
I
just
see.
manage that.
But actually, Maisa and everyone, I mean, that quarter idea can be also the museum, the genocide
Could
museum
be the
too.
genocide
That is
museum.
another extra use we can use for it.
Definitely
You
need
know,
a genocide museum. Yeah, we definitely do.
Yeah.
yalla guys, think
Yalla,
about how
let's
we
find
can
the
Yeah,
move forward.
I think we're way past time again, huh? Well done.
Yeah, it's past everybody's time, but yalla. It's
Yeah.
just
شباب يعطيكم العافية. خلصتوا?
Yeah.
Good job.
Are we all
Mission
good?
accomplished. Keep up the good work. It's not accomplished, but keep up the good work. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Keep thinking, keep speaking, keep coming with ideas, keep pushing us, keep reminding us, keep
Yep.
reminding anyone around you of this. We need to do more. We appreciate all of you, and we will see you all next week. In the meantime, emails, Quram, that letter, that email to Van Hollen needs to go first, and hopefully we can get the wife video to go with it. We need the emails for the other ones, follow up, and maybe remind them. Maybe we can have the Van Hollen one as a template that we can use it for other ones too, as a follow up to our visit. And thank you. Thank you. You're all doing an amazing job. You are all doing God's work on this planet, which is to fix this humanity. Inshallah,
Inshallah.
we will live in a world without mosque, without the Zionists soon. They can go to Mars, they can go wherever they want, as long as
Well,
they
Elon Musk
They-
will see to that.
I think God promised them Mars 3,000 years ago, so maybe they can go there, all of them.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
Yeah.
How was God
Alhamdulillah.
promised us planet Earth?
All right, guys. Free Palestine.
Salam.
Yeah.
Bye.